right. So that's my preamble. So it's already so most people are concerned with the products and do I do 1090 and all these games that people play that don't know jack about insurance. Oh, I can use, this is where lost me with Marvin. Oh, you know, we use whole life and universal life. You're not a true believer, okay? Because you don't use universal life for infinite banking. That's in Nelson's book. So I build the way he said build it. And there are people say, oh, well, it works better. It looks better because those are just projections. Okay, you can project wherever the hell you want. Okay, but is it going to, because all the projections, all the mutual funds, what do they say? Past performance is no guarantee of future performance. And so they love to, and I don't really understand this. It's like, am I missing something? Because they'll go back and they'll back test a universal life, which is basically term insurance and a side fund where they're buying options against the S&P 500. That's what universal life is. And they're hoping that and they'll say, well, okay, this strategy, if you go backwards to 2010 or whatever, would have earned blah, blah, blah. Well, so what? Okay, that's what I mean. I was like, that's, but all the industry uses back testing. And so they got you brainwashed into thinking that that's a thing. How many of y'all read Rich Dad Poor Dad? Let's start with that.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. How many of y'all read, can you see this? Rich Dad's Guide to Investing.
Currently reading
but I
it.
have not read it.
No.
This is the book right here. Okay. Where the rich invest in, Rich Dad's Guide to Investing, with the rich investing that the poor and middle class don't. So the middle class get money and there is burning a hole in their pocket and they're looking for somebody to give their money to. I want to put it in this, should I get a Roth, right? Should I get this? I want to get this mutual fund. I want to buy gold. I want to buy real estate. Okay, but what's the plan? And what are the 3 ways to invest in yourself? Your number one asset is, finish that thought since you started.
Not you.
Your
knowledge.
So now it's the one asset is you, right?
Your ability to make money.
Right. So what do you invest in when you invest in you? Your mindset, skill set, network. So the 3 E's is what you're shooting for: education, experience, and excessive cash. Investing is a plan. So here's what I was looking for. Okay. So I'm going to read from the book. This is chapter 6, investor lesson 4. All right. I have a $10,000 to invest. What do you recommend I invest in? This is the question he always gets. This is his question he hates. He said his standard reply is, do you have a plan? Because financial freedom is a capability. People talk about retirement. I don't care about retirement. Retirement is an age, and that's a man-made socialist concept. Okay, retirement. And it was the agricultural term to mean to withdraw or to put out of use. So I'll say that. I was talking to this woman, she was 67. I said, so is that what you want? She goes, no, she's still a full-time realtor. All right. And she ain't got nothing saved up. So guess what? Retirement is not a thing. Okay. Unless you're going to live on Social Security. So you need to figure out, she's a church lady too. I said, you need to get your ass to work. Okay. You got to figure out how to work. And so the other woman that only had 18,000, I said, what are you doing? Well, she was in Juice Plus, which is an MLM thing, right? Okay, I like MLM. Most people don't make money because they don't know how to work. All right. And so some of y'all that are in the insurance or that, I'm trying to carve out some time. So I'm gonna create like a 6-week masterclass on how to work, how to build business, how to build your business outside of your list. Like too many people say you need to start with the list, but you got to get beyond that. You got to learn how to, network marketing or any type of sales, affiliate marketing is a business of marketing or networking and promotion, let's say with network marketing, but most people don't know how to network properly. They don't know how to promote. They don't know how to market, which is attract people to you that are interested in what you're talking about. And most people are not interested in being in business. right? So if you're in network marketing, you're leading with your business opportunity, I said, listen, have you gotten results from this Juice Plus thing? Yeah. Do you talk about it? How many people did you talk to about your business this week? Okay. I said, so look, you need $500 a month. So find your upline and help them show you a plan. Then I took out a calendar. I says, okay, when do you work? Oh, I work 8 to 4. Okay. And then I work 9 to 1 or 9 to 12 on Fridays. Okay. That's when you can't do your business. Do you get lunch? Okay. Well, you could do some stuff on your lunch break. You could send out some text. You could whatever, her first meeting she did, you could create this thing called a health awareness seminar and talk to people about, not about your business, but just about wellness in general. And then your product becomes a solution to the problem that you just presented. So a lot of times people always lead with the business opportunity. Most people don't want to be in business, but they want to feel better. So show them how to do that. Like if you have a business and you can't make money, what I call retailing the thing, then because most people get in these money schemes. Oh, I gotta, this guy always calls me. Yeah, it's got a 4x6 matrix or it's a binary, all this bullshit. I can't stand that. They never call me about that stuff because I can't stand it. It's because I'm old school, so I come from retail. My dad said, look, find somebody that needs your stuff. We had a supermarket that needs your stuff and sell it to them. So I don't like money schemes. Most people don't have a business. They have an excuse to launder money between friends, right? So I like real things that if I sell it, yes, I said sell it. Sell is not a bad word. Sell is helping people make a future decision that's good for them. That's a skill, mindset, skill set. What are the 3 skills for business? Marketing, sales, which is helping people make a future decision that's good for them, and team building. Okay, those are skills that make money. So if you're not making money, you're weak at that. Okay, it's really simple. Okay. Troy, this is out of Byron's other book. You got the Cash Man, the Trash Man to the Cash Man, right? Which is a good book by Myron Golden. But his other book is my favorite book for last year was Boss Moves, Business Optimization Success Secrets. And so let me know. I have a link to it. I'll show you how to get it. I think it gives away some extra stuff through the link I give out. But you got to have a plan, right? Because he says, let me just read some of this. All right. So you know why there's so many different types of cars and trucks? Because so many people have different needs. A single person does not need a large non-passenger station wagon, but a family of 5 kids needs one. He says that's why investment products are often called investment vehicles. They're called, why are they investment vehicles? Because that's all they are. There are many different investment products, vehicles, because there are many different people with many needs, just as a family with 5 kids needs more than a single or a farmer. But why the word vehicles? Because all a vehicle does is get you from point A to point B. And so most people don't know point A because they won't take a stock of here's my cash flow, here's my balance sheet, and they don't know where point B is. They're either they get money, they want to spend it, or they get money and they want to just give it to somebody else that they don't, some fund manager ain't never met. Okay. And hoping they're smarter than you. And you want to lock up the money for 5, 10, 15 years. And so he says investing is like planning a trip. Let's say you want to go from Hawaii to New York. Obviously, at the first leg of your trip, a bicycle or car will not do. You means you have to take a boat or a plane to get across the ocean. And then once you reach land, you can do what? You can walk, ride a bike, travel by car, train, bus, or fly to New York. All are different vehicles, and one is not necessarily better than the other. But it's all time. Walking or riding a bike would be the best if you've got a lot of time and you want to see the country. Okay. But if you need to get to New York tomorrow, obviously flying from Hawaii to New York is the best and the only choice if you want to make it on time. So many people focus on the product, let's say stocks, and then a procedure, let's say trading, okay? But they don't have a plan. What's the plan? I want to become financially free. What does that mean? Passive income greater than my expenses. So if you're doing that, is all the stuff you're doing taking you there? So if you're saying, well, okay, right now I have 0 passive income outside of my work, and by the end of this quarter, referencing the 12-week year this year, by March 31st, I want that at $200 a month. I want that at $500 a month. And by the end of the year, I want this. So now, I'm trading this and that. I'm doing this and that. Well, is it generating any money? Because what's an asset? Something that puts money in your pocket. So you're supposed to save money to buy or build after your emergency fund to buy or build assets. Okay. And see, so most people are trying to make money about what they think is investing, but trading is not investing. What is it if it's not investing? He asked. It's trading. Okay. And trading is a procedure or a technique. A person trading stocks is much different than the person who buys a house and flips it and sells it for a higher profit. One trades stocks, the other one trades real estate. It's still trading. Wholesaling is trading. Okay. It's not bad, but you are not building passive income because if you stop, you're only good as your last transaction. Okay. So if you have a plan would be, okay, I'm going to do this so I can get some working capital. And then my goal is to buy, 2 houses a year for the next 5 years. Okay. And then you get $500 a house so in 5 years or less, because you'll probably speed up because you'll get better. And now you got $5,000 a month, $60,000 a year. Well, now, same thing with the networking thing. I told her, listen, if you can get your business up to $500 a month, do you know that's the equivalent of having $100,000 in the bank or in some type of asset? Because what is if you guys, I just said it would be hard to do this, but let's say you could get 6% or $100,000. That's $6,000 a year. That's $500 a month. So you can use building a cash flowing asset as wealth equivalency, right? So you can live $1 million is $83,000 a month. So if you can build $1 million of cash flow off of a business where you're not working all the time, then you have the equivalent of that. Or if you can build $8,300 a month, then it's if you can build $8,300 a month business, that's the equivalent of having $1 million, because that's $100,000. So it's, let me just use round numbers. $1 million. If you had $1 million, you would need 10% to draw $100,000 a year. So if you really want $100,000 a year, you really need like $1.5 million. Okay. So when you're talking about, I'm trying to max out my 401k, you got to understand that's what you're trying to do. That's really hard. Okay. And so I take people through a exercise called Retirement Ready or Not to show you, okay, if you're just trying to do this with paper assets, that's the challenge. Okay. And so the retailer is a trader and trading is a profession, but he doesn't call it investing. If you're investing is a plan to get you from where you are to where you want to be. And, here is a quiz in the book. So this is a powerful book. Y'all got to, because most people don't know, like what I realized, and he says there's 3 plans. You need to plan. You have a plan to be secure. Okay. So that's worst case scenario. You just screw everything up at least by 65 or whatever, you're okay. That's the first plan you got to build. Okay. Then you have a plan to be comfortable, which is a little more aggressive. Okay. And then you have a plan to be rich. All right. And so like I tell people, look, so if we go back, I'm going to share the screen again so I give people the plan. So I have a couple of real estate investment groups that want to integrate me into their training, because most people focus on the investments and their people, they don't even know the fundamentals, and nor do they have any type of plan. And so here we go. Let me just move some of this. I want them to, what are the principles? Principles drive strategy. See, if you want to change your results, you have to change your strategy. But the principles, so if I talk about infinite banking, and I am going to rewrite part of the Money for Life book, because I think I had a meeting with the author. Now my coach Kyle says don't need to do that. I should write my own book, which I am going to do. But I like his book, and I want my name on it from a marketing standpoint. But principles. So people want to I want to do infinite banking. That's step 2. That's a strategy, right? And the tactic is properly structured dividend paying whole life. But if you can't save 15% of your gross income, can you do infinite banking? or if you've not saved it, you already have some money set aside somewhere, but that means you have already have been a decent saver, or you came into some money, right? But and even then, you could have some money, but if you're not doing this, Curtis is going to make you do this, okay? Because I'm going to teach you the principles that help people become and remain financially free. So typical advice, let me go back to that. I think I'm in with that. It's not designed for you to become financially independent. Like, here's what I mean. So we teach velocity method, right? So are most people teaching? See, they want to buy an investment product. That's personal finance. So I was talking to somebody who says, oh, I'm reading Baby Steps and I'm going through this Dave Ramsey book. Okay, so here's what they're learning. I was talking to my former vice president with Primerica. It was like, oh, I was like beating my head against the wall. It's like, I don't want to talk to you anymore because you know, you've been in this thing 35 years. So even if I said, there's no use talking to you because you can't agree with me because your whole world is based around this premise. Okay. And it does work for some people. Dave is good for some people, but it ain't good if you already make a lot of money or you aspire to make a lot of money. This is not going to take you from point A to point B because it's based on the accumulation theory, right? Accumulate savings and build net worth, pay off debt, you know, but there's constructive debt and there's destructive debt. So, but they don't broach that subject, right? Invest for the long term in a diversified portfolio of mutual funds, dollar cost averaging, the rule of 72, all that stuff, and buy term and invest the difference. So this is what I want to say 97% of the people are taught in personal finance. So if you're sitting down with a typical advisor, and so is this anything in here? Because all of this is designed to do what? Send your money away from you. Remember the four, who can tell me the 4 rules of the financial institutions? All of them: insurance, mutual funds, wealth managers. What do they want? They want your money.
They want it now.
They want it now. They want it on a regular basis, every paycheck. They want to keep it as long as possible. And when they want to give it back? Never, or as slow as possible, right? Oh, you need a stretch IRA and you know. And so what they're hoping is that, and this is the government in bed with them also, because what they're hoping is that if you, you know, so you can get let's say if it's a spouse, the money doesn't kind of get killed going from the IRA from the partner to the other partner, okay? But when it goes to the kids, do they want to take it out slow, or they want all that money now?
Kids want it.
They want it now, right? So they're going to cash it in. So then they're going to pay 20, 30% or more taxes on that money because it's going to come out as ordinary income, and they're going to pay fees. So that's what the government is hoping that people do. So they play the long game, okay? And so the people that are putting it in may have saved $800 on taxes, but they get the privilege of pulling it out at 10%. And if they don't pull all out, they'll pull out and the government will get their money. And there's trillions of dollars over here that work like this, okay? And none of those strategies are designed for you to build passive income, greater expenses, because they're not designed to cash flow. Even if you've got, you know, I had a guy that if he does what he's doing right now, he may have $4 million in his 401k. He's got about 900,000 now. It's like 52 that we're going over his stuff. And, but I showed him, I did my little retirement ready or not thing. Well, at this money, because he's making like 300,000. So if he wants to maintain his standard of living, he was going to be out of money in like, so starting at 65. So in like 11, 12 years. Because all of this money is designed for you to do what? Drain the tank. Right? It's designed. Open up, open up, open up. What is wrong with my system here? There we go. Right, here we go. So the money's here in the yellow tank because you're funding this. So one, you put it in jail for 30 years. You can't control this. This person had about 70 grand in savings, but he made $300,000 a year. So, and he wanted to get into outside stuff because he felt like it was too heavily weighted in paper assets, which he was, but he didn't, but he had two. He's got these high price, Fidelity, and another person that he likes, but he feel like when he found me, he was just getting the same old advice. So I was like, I gave him a different conversation, right? And so this is his money. Got a good lifestyle, boom, out and down the drain. So I was like, listen, if you're going to do stuff that you control, not a lot of debt, but some debt, has a house worth $400,000 or $500,000, doing well. White guy from Wisconsin. Not that matters, but white people like me too. So, because why? Because I'm good. Okay. And so it doesn't matter what color you are if you're good at what you do, right? And you can bring value. I'm reading right now. Y'all should view this and make your kids read this. I'm gonna finish it this weekend. Booker T. Washington, Up From Slavery. And this is just an interesting perspective because the big battle is between him and W. Du Bois. And so I'm going to do some lives on, or some recordings on that kind of stuff this month. I'm going to publish this week and start talking about some of those debates, because a lot of that is where we're marching and trying to get rights and blah, 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 but we don't own nothing, control nothing, and still, you know, are beholden to other people for our livelihood because we don't know trades. We are, you know, I get these people that, you know, they're making $150,000 a year, the head of diversity for blah, blah, blah. Okay. And if sales go down, you're as the first one to go and get fired because you don't bring any revenue into the organization. So you look good. So you better be saving money and you better be buying cash flowing assets. Because to me, you can get fired for a job for any reason or no reason at all. So in my mind, that's risky, and you need to develop other stuff.
Yo, that's a whole niche you better go after, man. All these D&I executives.
I know, that's a good point. But see, if I say it wrong, I'm gonna piss them off. So I gotta pretty it up a little bit. So that's why I don't really work corporate people. That's a whole conversation because I'm gonna let you have it. So I'm not gonna, you know, I was at something. I went to the where was I at? We went to the Philadelphia Orchestras. They were there. We had tickets, and they were previewing this Black composer that they were featuring in the orchestra, which is cool. And they had a reception. The guy's niece was there, and all the people were from like the Lynx and AKA. So all these little bougie people, right? Think they're masters of the universe, which are nice people. But like when I see them, I go to those events, I was like, okay, I like these people. They're broke, right? They're pretty, but they broke. They got nice cars, nice houses, kids in private school, and they make good money, but it's in, out, down the drain. And all their money's in 401ks. So that's the thing. Yeah. So I have to think about that. Do I like that? See, I like business owners. And I have more of an entrepreneurial mind. So that's, you know, sometimes because most of these people don't want to do anything else entrepreneurial or where they take control of their money. So all they want to do is just put it here and do their little bougie things over here on their lifestyle, which is all right. But so when I just put information out there, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, because I'm getting a few of those people. But yeah, that's a good point. So the point is this, right? So what you want to do is you got to ask yourself, because all of that, the only way to turn that money into cash flow is to kill the cow, right? Meaning that you have to drain the tank and sell the shares to turn it into money. So and the hope is you don't run out of money before you die. That's the plan for most people. All right. And see, so now if you took a corporate finance class, I tell you, this is what I do. This is what I learned, because I was this guy for 15 years on steroids. I was like Dave Ramsey on steroids. And now I've learned the concept through Rich Dad's book of velocity of money, cash flow. It's not an asset, but doesn't cash flow, risk management, which is insurance, and where do they store their cash? Where do banks store their cash? Properly structured permanent insurance. Okay, built for liquidity, but it also gives you a lot of death benefit. So, but here's the funny thing: this stuff works in personal finance, and this is what I do. So when I say, all right, you got to have a plan. What's your plan to make sure are you saving? Do you have maximum protection? Do you have full replacement of assets at death? So here's principle 3: full replacement of assets at death, guaranteed. Right? So just that word guaranteed is why I don't use index universal life, because there ain't nothing guaranteed in the product. And one of my principles is certainty. And so the products, which is a tactic, have to meet with my principles. I teach principles-based planning, principles-based financial planning. Okay, I'm basically a master mentor trainer in this philosophy, principles-based planning. And so now, so that's my principle. Then can I sell a product, a tactic that doesn't fit with my principles? Now you can, I can't, okay, in good conscience, because everything over here, I know if you're following the principles, this will work, because this is what rich people do to be rich. So this is not like, well, no, let's just try it. This works, okay? And so 6 months to a year in income storage, right? And then what's the 5th principle? So this is so there's books like, so Rich Dad's Guide to Investing, Who Took My Money, because most of this is how you think, right? So what I realized, because I was going over my coach, I was like, all right, what are these people, they're just doing 401ks? Well, all you can do is lead them to water, because somebody called me and said, yeah, I want to meet with you. I want to develop passive income. Okay, what do you want me to do about it? Okay, because that's not my job. That's your job. Okay, I'm the defensive coordinator, right? So I'm going to make sure you're liquid. Now, I know enough where I can be conversant and I can give you ideas, especially if it's business. I'm a good business coach, and that's really where I'm going to highlight. But I'm going to bring on a real estate investment coach. I'm going to bring on a Turo coach. I'm going to bring on a short-term rental coach, which I have. That if you're listening to the show, that's the purpose of the show, is to show you how to become whatever asset class you like: business, real estate, paper, commodities. But I've realized that's not my job, and I'm not taking on that mantle. And but I'm gonna show you how to do good due diligence. And if you don't want to become, then you at least need to learn how to select good operators. There's a book I have on that. Hold on. So I had a guest on, John, I always pronounce his name wrong, McClades, his strategic investing for individuals. So one of the things he talks about is, okay, you can become, but you can also, there's syndications and there's stuff that where you can, if you don't have the time, but you have the money, then you could do private lending. You could do, syndications where you give them 50, 100 grand and you invest in apartment buildings or self-storage and that kind of stuff. And then they'll pay you 8, 10, 12%, so there's stuff out there like that. But if you don't save and you're not liquid, you can't do that. A lot of people talk about, for example, one of my pet peeves, they'll talk about, well, you need a self-directed IRA, right? So that you can buy real estate. And buying real estate in an IRA is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But if I'm selling self-directed IRAs, and I know most people have the majority of their money in IRAs because the only thing that systematically forced them to put aside money was in their 401k. So they might have $500,000. I had a guy that was one of my clients. He was a Microsoft executive, and has a couple $1 million, maybe $1.5 million in this thing. And he took $500,000, created you can buy franchises with your 401k. I interviewed a couple of franchise people, and there's a provision where you can use this to buy, but the 401k owns it. So that, and then started making money, started making like $60,000, $70,000 a month. And then he had a problem getting the salary out because it was self-dealing, and that guy was a mess. He ended up buying it back out of that this year, and worked out pretty well. But you can start it, right? And he bought a laundromat and then financed the mat. And then within a year, he had the baby up to like $60,000, $70,000 a month of gross revenue. He's up in Washington State. And so, I like that. Okay. And I like the fact that he bought it back out of it. But real estate, why would you take a tax favored vehicle? This is from Tom Wheelwright, directly from Tom Wheelwright, and put it tax favorite vehicle and put it inside a tax averted vehicle, like a solo 401k. I would do, not solo 401k, but I qualified plan. I would do notes in it. If I had money there, I wouldn't put money in there, but if I had money and I didn't want to take the total distribution, then I would do stuff that, so if you're doing private lending and you're buying notes and you're getting interest income, I would do that. So it's like, be very careful. Like when people come on my show and they were talking about, I like self-directed IRAs for the right situation. And what is self-directed? See, people say, well, I got this thing with, what did somebody tell me? TD or Ameritrade. I got a self-directed IRA. No, you don't. Okay. You can buy anything in their grid. Self-directed IRA, you can buy real assets. Okay, especially they got the custodian fees a little bit higher, but you can buy gold. Can't buy art. You can buy oil wells. Okay, you can buy I saw you could lease land where you could buy the land at least to oil well producers. You can buy all kinds of stuff. You can buy you can get, what is things? I'm trying to get these guys on my show. Coffee, what is it? Yeah, cocoa farms in Belize, and coffee where you could get 1 acre or 2 acres of land. They manage it for you, and you could buy specialty coffee. And that they average, after about 2 seasons, when they start producing fruit twice a year, you'll get like a 10-12% rate of return on that, and it's forever, right? And it's willable, and you can buy that in your IRA. I don't mind that, right? But but it's, what is better? Buy it and borrow against your life insurance. But where's your capital at? So the thing is, you have to learn how to do this. Stop looking for. And so if you don't know how to do this yet, then ain't no shame in leaving it sit until you figure out what you want to do. You don't need to be fully invested, because most of y'all are not investing, you're speculating. What is an investment? To invest means to cover fully, right? The short version of that, what's the root of that? To investigate. Ain't nobody investigating nothing. That's why I try to teach you stuff, because I need you to separate facts from somebody's sales pitch, right? And you're willing to do the homework. Now, if you're willing to do the homework, then all right, have at it. And I still told you, look, if you don't want to do your work, don't call me, okay? And see, so one of the things, he says, so I need a plan. He says, my plan will then determine the different type investment vehicles I need. In fact, don't invest until you have a plan. Always remember, investing is a plan, not a product or a procedure. He says it's actually really very boring. See, most people are not planning on being rich; they're planning on being poor. All right, and because if you hear stuff like, "Well, you don't need to worry about the 401k, you'll be in a lower tax bracket when you retire," that person is planning for you to be poor. Because your taxes don't go down when you turn 65. They only go down if your income goes down. And are you trying to have less money? Let me show one last thing. Any comments, questions, clarifications, observations? I was kind of on a roll, but
Curtis, I have one quick question.
yes, please.
Oh,
Go ahead.
what another book as well?
Go ahead.
Where can someone take a corporate finance class online?
No, I'm just saying, so that statement, don't worry about that, because that's not what you need to do.
Okay.
Okay. See, because again, you're going back to academia. What did I just tell you? You want to take a corporate finance course, read Rich Dad Guides to Investing. It's a concept of learning. So remember, in investing, when I talk about investing, what are the 4 asset classes? Business, right? So if you're going to get good at business, right, what are the things that because if you're a good B, right, from the cash flow quadrants is another book. A students work for C students and B students work for the government by Kiyosaki. That's a good book. Second Chance. Like, you got to go through those. Like, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and they ain't read nothing else. You got it, because it's a mindset, and you got to look at it a different way. And then you go into tactics. Everybody wants to go right into tactics. They what do I invest in? You ain't gonna learn jack. So not to point you out, I just want to get, but this is the thinking. People think, well, I'm gonna go back to school. I want to go into business, so I'm gonna go back and get my MBA. Really? Taught by professors that ain't never been in business? Some of them have, but I'm not a big fan of that. I think that's a lot of money. I think that you can find a mentor. You can get around that people. Hell, I like network marketing if you use it right. As a most of what I know about business, I learned from my father, from my 12 years in Primerica. Even though the financial information was bad, but I learned how to sell, recruit, train, build leaders, market. All the skills I use now that now I got better information and I know more stuff. And from mentors that were making, I met people when I was in college that were making 20, this is like 85, right? 20, 30, 40, 50, $80,000 a month. I was no more good. You couldn't tell me nothing. You can tell me off, graduated and get a starting job at $40,000, $50,000 a year. And my dad already told me, you never making money, work for somebody else. Okay. And so I just so now I know I'm weird. But again, so if you read Up from Slavery, you've got to be of service, find something that's in demand that people will pay you for your expertise. That's the key, right? And so going to school, going into more debt to get an advanced degree to learn how to do what? Nothing, because you're going to school. Like, people that get MBAs, they're getting MBAs to, and I know some people on here have this, so I hope I'm stepping close, but you're basically getting an MBA so you can work in somebody else's business, a C student's business, right? A capitalist is the C student in the book, A Students Work. So you're working for the capitalist, right? So if you work at Microsoft, or what's another good one, or Dell, or Amazon, who's the C student for Amazon? Jeff Bezos, right? So let's say you want to be in management and you get your MBA. You're what? You're a bean counter running. He's hiring you, the A student, to run his B quadrant enterprise. And so he stepped down as the day-to-day CEO. He's got somebody else running that. And he's still the second richest person in the world. We ain't taught to think like that. I'm in this mastermind group where they buy businesses. They're just like, okay, yeah, this woman, she bought a rug business, not a rug business. What's the thing where you doormat business, right? Where you like custom doormats, and she does candles and housing. She does some wholesale and she does retail. She bought it like, I don't know, 12, 15 years ago. I'm about to bring her on the show. She's on the road doing trade shows at that time of season. And she went from buying this business for $200,000 because she was like a controller of some job thing and she didn't want to do that. So she just put the message out to do that. And that she was looking with business brokers, and she bought that last year, and she's added like 3 more to that thing that she bought. She looks for every 18 months. She looks for stuff to add to her core offering. Last year, she's $8 million in sales. with no office space, like it's all virtual. And I just talked to a woman I'm working with now that called me. We're going through, she wants to be the bank. And she bought a silk t-shirt business, silk screening business that I forget how much it did, like maybe a couple 100,000 sales. So she bought it for like 150,000. And the revenue, the owners paid themselves $40,000 a year each, right? So that means she's bought a business that if she just didn't mess it up, how much can she pull out that business for her if she wants to be an operator? Come on now, think about it. The owners paid themselves. They have as $80,000 worth of owners pay built into that. So hasn't she bought herself an $80,000 a year cash flow?
Yeah, are you showing something, Curtis?
No, I'm not. I'm talking.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yes, right. So now we can get into, okay, we're here to 3 ways to grow revenue. You can grow that. And then what she's going to do is she doesn't want to be a data. She's going to operate some of it, but she's going to hire a manager. So out of that $80,000, could she pay somebody 40 or 50 and still have, just without even growing the business, 30 for her asset, right? And she got it with, I don't know, some other debt, like a home equity line. So the payments are really low and it's way easy. She can out earn it. And she hasn't even talked about growing it. And she's already talking about buying another competitor that might be up for sale. That's principle 5. You see what I mean? But you have to grow to that. Now, all right, let me share. Now I'm going to share. Hold on. So what I'm trying to do is get you all, like, let's get the foundation set. A lot of you we're working on it, but your foundation is not set. Okay. And I realize sometime I'm shortcutting this and I'm just now rededicated and to going over cash flow, but this is you. So I'm trying to get you to principle 5, and then you've got to learn to, and you can still put money in qualified plans, but I'm gonna tell you, if you put $1 in your business, you make $2, that's 100% return. So there's that. Let me show you this. All right, so I'm gonna take 10 minutes. I'm gonna give myself a little commercial. So this is the inside of this is the Money for Life Club membership. So this is the newsletter, right? So this is February. So this is what's in here. We got the newsletter. This is right now. If you squeeze it in before I fix it, it's still $29 a month. But I'm going to fix it this weekend. I'm going to raise it to $49, but then I'm going to put an affiliate program. So you can share it if you want to grow, help us grow this cash flow and everything, right? Multiplying assets, right? So every month we do a special report. How Disney built an empire, multiplying assets. How do you have your assets buy up? Like this person bought that business and then she's using that business to buy other businesses, right? I'm using practical wealth education, whereas this and some other courses and marketing stuff I'm creating to be one as a lead generator for practical wealth solutions, but to buy other stuff, and expand into other areas of intellectual property that I have. Those are assets of mine, and then just turning that into revenue. But here is like, recommended read, just stuff we like to put in to get people thinking about stuff. Here's a book, building a portfolio of alternative cash flow assets. So all this is in here. We put the if they're good, the calls in here. Okay. For actually this should be in another thing, but I have to get with my assistant. So this call, for example, will go in the February thing. So I'll replace that and make sure this is in December. So those type of things. So let me show you the newsletter real quick. So the newsletter, I'm not going to start writing an adjunct to this. So I'll let Rob, my partner, write most of it. But sometimes we differ. So I really like to put my 2 cents in here. But this is like 12 page. I print these out. I used to have another newsletter called Income for Life when he was doing turnkey real estate, that I still have those books. Like I get magnetic marketing newsletter. I print those out, put them in binders. I go back through them. And so let's say, okay, what was happening in February last year or February 2 years from now? What's after that? For not so much the markets may have changed, but you know, if it's a marketing thing, but what are promotions I could do in February? Can I create a promotion around Valentine's Day? You know, so but I should have been thinking about it in January. Can I create a promotion around whatever? So you, if you're a business, do you have a marketing calendar? And not just let sneak up on you. Okay. So what are we talking about this month? The version way to multiply assets, exercise and nutrition plan, how to build irresistible offers to multiply business and investing assets, how to create powerful irresistible offers. See, that's all under marketing. Marketing is the keys to the kingdom. How you can set yourself apart and make up to 2,000% on non-producing assets in taxable brokerage accounts. Don't know that. He likes trading. I don't know what happened there. And but basically you would go, you download it. So this is that. So it's 12 pages up. And so then we go over, you know, what are the the principles of the, you know, the 20 principles of FU. What's the goal of this whole newsletter? Is get you to a position, where's that, of FU, right? Where's that? That's why I'm going to clean that. I'm going to move this over into a new thing, and where I'll archive these so that it'll be just, I'll just have the 12 months in there. You'll still be able to get to them, but I'm gonna move this over to ClickFunnels 2.0 and clean it up a little bit. But and so we're gonna start recording our banking course. I'm gonna building your cash. I'm gonna do a short, just to include for our members on, I like network marketing. So building your cash machine, the 5 principles of personal finance. So this is to go along with people who are going through the principle-based planning thing, saving 15%, 5 things you do with savings, you know, that kind of stuff. So this is designed to go along with the thing, you know, taking the mystery out of money, which is from Money for Life. So you've got to learn how to take control of your cash flow and your starting point, your personal economic model. Why is it not working? So this way I can go back through this. I might have to start recording this stuff in Venmo. So that I don't take them out into the world. You can get distracted. But anyway, so this is our membership. So so this is where I'm trying to like curate a lot of our stuff. So I've got like 4 years worth of podcasts, and I just need to curate some of this stuff. You know, I've got one of the articles we talk about, you know, making money off of land. And so that was in the newsletter, and I realized, okay, hell, I got 3 videos on this, with a link to a coaching program if you want to do land flipping. I have friends of mine, they have a done for you model where they're paying the people to manage their business, but in 18 months they got their land flipping business up to $20,000 a month. You know, you've got to manage, you know, because like what people do is these intellectuals think they're smart, but they think they're smart about everything, right? And so the problem is they'll come in, they'll give their ideas, but then they don't have to live with it. Their ideas. And so, you know, there's always unintended consequences. This is a great book by what's his name? I'm in here. His Wealth of Wisdom Institute. His name is what is his name? It's on Audible. It's a great book. It's called Learning to Avoid Unintended Consequences. And I can't think of the authors right now. That's a good book if you want to talk about this type of stuff and the 10 wealth transfers people to make. So there's more opportunity to minimize your losses than just try to pick winning investments. And everything you're taught about money transfers, just playing the game transfers your wealth to people that create the situations, control the outcome so that they profit. So you got to do your homework. You know, then that won't be so quiet on the call, because we'll have a discussion point. This ain't the Curtis show. You know, I'd like debate. You know, Walter Williams talking about minimum wage as a racist tool. People say, oh, their minimum wage is low, right? And minimum wage is discriminatory and it causes higher unemployment. That is economic. That's not even courtesy pay. That's economic fact. See, because you're saying that because, you know, they all start, him and Thomas Sowell both start out, oh, you know, we need minimum wage and social justice, blah, blah, blah. But the facts say something different. Okay. And so you've got, so you understand the intent, but what's the effect? Because if you have wage and price controls, wages, labor is a cost. So what happens if you raise the cost of something? What does demand do generally? If the price goes up, demand comes
Down. Like the,
right.
yeah, like the cars.
Yeah, like the cars, right? And so unless you raise the price, so right now interest rates went up. So now, you know, and you have the chip shortage and everything, but now with rates going up, if they want to sell cars, they've got to bring the car price down to where the consumer can afford that payment in the current interest rates, right? So it's all
About to go
ebbs.
down.
It's got to go down. That's just,
It is going to down, I think, in the next month from the general.
yeah, and I don't want it to go down. Okay, because see what happens is I was like, listen,
I kind of do because my mortgage is about to reset.
yeah, but see, yeah, so that's what I mean. Economics is personal, right?
Yeah.
And I was talking to Jeffrey Reeves, so he calls the whole thing that we're going to work on rewriting the book is called Eurekanomics, right? Eureka means, it's from the Greek word eureka, which means I found it, and nomics or economos is where economics is derived from. It just means manager of household. It's a household manager. So like economics is the you running your household, managing, this is why I got it, this is what's coming in, this is what I got to do for groceries. That's all economics is, right? And economics is more individual. And so when you look at like the Austrian School of Economics, it's all economics is based on human action, right? All of us going out every day, making decisions, voting with our wallets, doing what we want to do, buying what we want to buy. And then that is where the economy comes from. So it's from the bottom up, not the top down. And so how are you going to manage that? You can't manage that. I'm going to do what I want to do. And see, so when I talk about the personal economic model, you have to manage, only thing you control is what you do and how you respond to that, right? So I don't care, you know, because see, the other side of rates is if you look at a rate, let's do this. Am I still recording? Yeah. Let's do a new share. Somebody showed me this because I was a mortgage planner, right? So this is, I remember this slide. I have to find it somewhere. So let's look at this. So you got 7% and you got 7%, right? So Ron is saying my rate's going to go down. So that 7% is her cost of money. But what's this other 7%? Because you finance everything you buy. So you're either paying to use somebody else's money, because interest is the cost of money. If your credit's bad, then you're more risky. So they charge you more for the use of other people's money. But that interest rate on the other side of that, the other 7% is somebody's what? Rate of return or money they're earning. So when they lowered the rates, that they are basically was fueling the stock market, and all they're doing is a bunch of financial engineering. They ain't making nothing, they're not doing any our research and development. So all these value investors, you know, prices are too high, the companies aren't making anything. It's all financial engineering and they're trading stuff. I don't care what they do, right? And because there's no honest pricing, so it's hard to do that. And but that 7%, guess what's going up? My dividends on my insurance going to go up next year. Savings accounts are going up from point nothing to 2-3% sometimes, right? Your mortgage rate went up. Who remembers when mortgage rates were like 16-17%?
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Remember that?
Jimmy Carter's.
Yeah, in Jimmy Carter in the beginning of Reagan, because Volcker had to raise the rates to get inflation under control. But on the other side of that, did you know at one point money markets were, when I was in, I think I was like a sophomore, freshman in high school, it was like 15. And my dad took me to meet his banker. Money market accounts were paying 22%. Annuities were paying like 15%. CDs were paying like 8-10%. Savings accounts were paying like 4 or 5%. See, there's two sides of every story. And see, so what happens is if rates are low and you're getting like 1%, so now if you had $1 million, think about this, and you were getting 10%, safe money, which you used to be able to do, what's that generating for you? $100,000 a year, or $8,000 a month of income off your $1 million. So now if they lower the rate to 4%, now what are you getting? 40,000. So now if you want to, so now if you need to live on $8,000 a month, and you're now, the only way to keep that $8,000 a month, what do you have to do? You've got to begin to drain the tank, right? So now to goose the stock market, they lower rates so that, this is Bernanke quote, I want to create the wealth effect, not real wealth. So that means inflation. So that if we put more money into the economy, we're going to cause inflation. So where do you see inflation? Housing prices go up. So if your house goes up, you feel wealthier because people are using their house like an ATM machine, right? And if you're a real estate speculator, and which is good, and if you know what you're doing, and then your stock price to go up. So you feel wealthier because they think consumption drives the economy, right? So if I can get you to feel wealthy, you'll spend money, and that drives the economy because our economy is fueled by debt. So they need debt. You ain't trying, debt is, our money is debt. We have Federal Reserve notes. So this is what I mean by understanding the economics. So if you know what's going on, you'll know what to do. You'll know how to position yourself. You know how to position your personal economy to, one, protect yourself, and one, position yourself to prosper instead of prosper or profit off of understanding what's going on in the world. So anyway, I went off into I have to do some shows like this, but anyway, is that helpful? I want you to start to think about this stuff. So you got to get your foundation set, and then you've got to work at becoming, and stop just looking for the shortcut. What do I put my money into? That's lazy. Yes, I said it. And so you know, and so if you want to do that, you shouldn't be on my call. Okay. If you're not willing to invest in yourself, and like I should be hearing success stories. Curtis, I read this. Curtis, I just bought this thing, or I just got a hot dog cart, or I just started a business and I've got my passive income to $300, $400, $500 a month. See, so I'm provoking you to do that. Curtis, I just took this idea from your newsletter. So if you're here, I ain't here to be entertaining. I'm here to challenge your sensibility. Okay. I'm hoping I piss somebody off. Good. Either piss off and leave, or get pissed off and do something, and stop looking for other people to solve your problems. All right. So I'm a little mad this morning. So I was a little, so hopefully that gets through to somebody. I just want to challenge you to think, guys. We got to get on the other side of money. And I want 2023 to be your best year. It's going to be my best year ever. 2022 is my best year ever. And I'm trying to double that. So I'm very intense. So I'll look, okay, what do I have to get done? So 12-week year. What do I have to get done this week to hit my number? I don't wait for the whole year. I look at what I have to get done today. If I have a good day, I'll have a good week. If I have 4 good weeks, I'll have a good month. If I have 3 good months, I'll have a good quarter. If I have 4 good quarters, I'll have a really good year. Y'all stretch it out. You're too unfocused on your goals. and you'll be like everybody else. 95% of the people are drifting, right? They have no definite aim and they ain't got a plan. So I'm just saying, you need 3 plans: a plan to be rich, plan to be secure, a plan to be comfortable. So now, if you don't have that and you want one, go to practicalwealthadvisors.net and make an appointment. Let's talk about that. Curtis, I don't have a plan. I need a plan. So that's all I have to say about that. So all right, I'm off my soapbox today. I felt like somebody needed that message. And before we go, any other comments for the group? It's 11:30, so we went about an hour and a half, really about an hour and 20 minutes, because the first 10 was banter away for people to get on the call. Comments, questions?
Quick question, Curtis.
Yes.
Dealing with the wealth accumulation account. For example, say you have a client that deposits $2,000 a month into their wealth accumulation account, and you minus what you put into the whatever. Say for example, you put $1,500 into the policy. Just hypothetics, no real numbers. What do you do with the remaining 5? You just let it sit there? That's just designed to accumulate?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not going to sit there very long, but
right.
But it's in a wealth account, wealth coordination or wealth capture. So what he's talking about, let me just show this for people who don't know. So like the policy is step 2. When we're, a lot of people know us from Infinite Banking, but this is what Troy is talking about. So it's work, earn, save. So I want you saving at least 10, if you're starting out, okay, we got to find the money, but you should go. So for example, if you make, I'm just gonna use a round number. Let's say you make $80,000 a year. Okay. So 15% of that is $12,000 a year, right? So let's divide that by 26. 461.53. So can you go to HR and make sure every pay 461 or 400 or whatever, 400 or 500 really, is deposited into this separate account, separate from your bill pay, separate from a spending account. I don't want no other accounts associated with this. Only thing we're going to do is we're going to accumulate it, and then we're going to transfer that money into your policy or policies, plural, right? Because if Walmart wanted to grow, then they have to buy a new store. So every policy is a bank branch to your banking system, right? Because if your income goes up, your savings should go up. What are you doing? You're collateralizing your bank to buy or build assets so that you can save. What's the purpose of saving? You want to take your money and make your money make more money. We get money, we want to go buy shit and give our money away. First instance, I'll tell people, look, just don't do nothing. Just let it sit there. So I need you to get that wave over all the stuff you felt you've been deprived, or I need a new bedroom set, or all that stuff. What are you going to do to make money so your assets will pay for that stuff? That's the shift. So we don't think that way yet. And that's what this call is for, right? So yeah, to your point, it would reside here. And then you move it over. Like you look at your anniversaries, and if you're filling it up, then if you're consistently filling it up from this, that means it's time to convert some of the term to get a bigger box. Now you have 2 policies, and now you begin to get some money. So if you've got money here, what's our first goal? Freedom from debt to others. So we might use this money to buy back your debt and then create up free cash flow. That's like my number 1 goal. Ready cash, you need it. Money for emergencies and opportunities, at asset-based income, so buying assets that you don't have to work for and you can't outlive, and a legacy of wealth and wisdom. So those are the 4 pillars of a personal economy. But guess where it starts? Paying yourself first. Velocity starts with saving, right? And then as you save it, and you're reading 12, 15 pages a day, and you're aware and you're looking at opportunities, eventually you're going to see something that had been there, but you haven't trained your brain to look for it yet, right? And all of a sudden, when you see it and you're following the principles, you've got the money to do it and the knowledge. to do it. And that's it. And Rome wasn't built in a day, right? So it's a plan. What's your plan? I think, you know, you should have a 3 to 7 year or at 10 max 10-year plan to get out the rat race, to become financially free. And as you get better, what you thought was a 10-year plan, you might get done in 3 because you'll get better. Because activity produces knowledge. Knowledge doesn't produce activity. You don't know how to do it. Oh, I want to buy single family houses. Okay. Or I want to buy turnkey property. Okay. Well, start. That's where I'm at. I was like, I think I want apartment buildings. Right. So I got other stuff I want to do to generate the money, but it's like, okay, let me work on business credit. Let me work on this and get somebody to show me this, because I'm thinking I got to do all this stuff and I probably don't. Right. So I need a coach. So I'll pay for a coach, which will save me time and money. Because I'll be 60 in June. So I need to get over, I need to get this shit done. Excuse the language, but I gotta get this done. And I want to have fun. I still want to travel 4 or 5 times a year. I still want to do all that kind of stuff. So it's you know, it's that's what you do. And I've already been, it's February. I've already been on 2 trips this year. And I got 2, they're business trips, but just I still have fun. I'm going to Nashville next week for an insurance event. Let me know if who in the business you want to go. It's called the what's it called? It's called the what is it called? It's called the, I forget what it is. And then the week after that, I'm going to the Infinite Banking Think Tank. So, and then after that, I'm going to, not bragging, I'm just saying, some of these are business trips. I'm going to Cancun for the funnel, the 2 Comma Club Mastermind in Paradise. So now I'm gonna get around Russell Brunson's inner circle people. They're paying 100,000, 150,000 a year to be in his category kings. Well, I'm going to be around these people. These people have funnels making, you know, $2, $5, $10, $15 million of how they've built a business. And I get to spend 6 days with them. You know, networking, picking their brain by the pool, at the bar, just hanging out. And, you know, what you have to get in those rooms. You cannot expand your own vision.
Curtis, remember, you can always bring me.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
I don't even have my passport anymore.
You don't?
Never renewed it after Italy, and that was like in the 90s.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. we're just,
I'll
my
when I think
Levio
I'm
has already
really
been to
going
3
away out of
countries.
the country again, I'll definitely do it.
Yeah. You gotta get your passport. And, you know, so we're trying to milk my kids. I'm trying to see, they got their passports. They've been to Italy. They've been to, you know, we're probably going to take them to Scotland with us, because we won the Scotland trip with Emeritus. So, all right, we may go early and take them to London. My oldest has already been to London, Spain, and France, because I sent her to Europe. And where'd that money come from? My policies. Okay, so I've already recaptured that money, right? I saved money in the policies. So this is not, I'm not just not out here whistling Dixie. This is what we do, you know. And I focus. So where's the formula? Get money, bank it, borrow it, spend it, repay it, borrow against it, right? Spend it on what? Major capital purchases or opportunities, and then repay it with principal and interest. But it starts with get money. So every quarter, every year, I am like, how can I, because I can control my income, what can I do to grow my revenue? How can I get better? How can I serve more people? How can I talk to, you know, more than 1 people at a time? Can I do a group coaching program? Can I, you know, which we're working on is, you know, not fees, but, you know, some certain other things around that, where there's other stuff outside of the stuff. See, so if you're not doing that, what can you do to do that? Some of you are on Legal Shield. That's a membership. Okay. So there's, you can do that. And what if you can do that? So, and you recruit people to your business, Karen, right? So now what other problem they need? They don't know how to manage your cash flow. So there's affiliates where you can give them, it's like $10 a month, and you can give them a way to track your business mileage and their expenses. And there's other stuff. So what happens is, you know, there's other services that they need, or other networkers need, that you can provide to them with some coaching and profit, right? So you got to think about what they need before you meet. my premiums need to be higher. And 10 years ago, I wouldn't have received that. 5 years ago, I wouldn't have received that, even though I was doing it, but not to that extent, because I was afraid because my income was up and down. Now it's like, Curtis, you idiot. And I'm still mad at I had my insurance license since I was 20 with Primerica, and I thought whole life was the devil. So, so I'm still pissed off about that. And but anyway, guys, have a great weekend, and hopefully this recording will be in the membership site. So if you want that, if you don't have that, email me, kurtme@gmail.com. I'll send you a link, and you can be a Money for Life Club member and truly be on the inside of it and be a cash millionaire.